Hey guys, so I've been planning to do an in-depth review or a look at the GFX 102 after I've used it for a couple of months now. I've been wanting to do that for a while, and a couple of things came up that I'm going to link to down below that kind of made me go through this now, because this really is a remarkable camera. Obviously, the first thing I have to say is that I've never owned a camera that does so much so well in such a small package. It just goes away. It does everything it needs to do. Autofocus is fantastic. Overall speed is fantastic. 5 frames a second, 8 frames a second, I believe 8 frames a second. The 12-bit, again, this is just not a problem. The camera is just absolutely fantastic. Anything you throw at it, it just takes care of it. It just does it. I've said before, one of the biggest pros for me is this finder. First of all, the rear screen is incredible. The EVF is incredible. The way that you can, just make this camera this size, and this is a 100 megapixel medium format camera that has, as far as I know, the highest, or this is one of the things that we just found out that, and I'm going to link to this, that the camera was tested and it has the highest dynamic range of any camera other than the, I believe, the Phase IQ4 and 3 at the moment. So it's ultimate image quality in an extremely small package, an extremely adaptable package. This is just one part of it. This is the smallest lens. Again, this is the 35-70. I love this lens. It's inexpensive. All I can say about the EVF and the rear screen is that, as you guys know, I've been testing all these manual lenses, and honestly, shooting with manual glass on the 100S was absolutely possible as an image capture device, absolutely doable. But with this EVF and with this rear screen, focus just pops in. I don't need peaking. I can just focus right there. Yes, I can zoom in with the push button, but it's absolutely fantastic. It's like, yeah, it just works. Obviously, the Fuji lenses are incredible. I mean, they're less expensive than a lot of competitors' lenses. Obviously, Hasselblad, because they have built-in leaf shutter, but they're just incredible lenses. They're across the board. Every one lens is better than the other. There are really no shortcomings. The camera itself, I think this is the most beautiful one they've made so far of the medium format ones. It doesn't really have the retro look of the smaller ones, but it's just really well designed. That angled top is, I don't know why people haven't, I guess the Phase camera had that. It's just everything is in the place where it's supposed to be. Startup time, battery life, overall handling, weatherproofing. I haven't needed it. I've been out in the rain with it. It's not a problem at all, obviously. Everything just works. I'm looking at it right now. I have it set to 3200 ASA, or ISO. The files look fantastic. As you guys know, I make big prints. 30 by 40 native resolution is not a problem. ISO 80 really helps shooting outside with flash sync. People keep talking about leaf shutters versus high-speed sync. I'm not a huge fan. Both have shortcomings. The implementation of high-speed sync in this camera is incredible. It makes it so easy that it's just a clear winner to me. And that's just the still functions. Another reason why I just had to do this now is that I just found out today, and again, I'm linking to this below, is that there's this company called Old Fast Glass, and they adapt movie, they're a movie rental house, and they adapt old glass to be used on movie cameras. And what they did is they pretty much took the GFX 102 and just, instead of, you can obviously kit it up for movie shooting, but they just put a box around it, put an Atmos recorder on it, and you pretty much have they have a movie camera, a 64, almost 64 millimeter Alexa type movie camera. They turned the GFX into a movie camera, full-blown movie camera. I'll link to it below. It's incredible, but it just shows that this is a serious movie camera. 8K, it shoots RAW, 14 stops, 15 stops of dynamic range. It's just incredible what it can do. I've shot 4K video with it. It looks absolutely amazing. Let me just go through a couple of comparisons, obviously. Sony, Nikon, Canon all offer amazing cameras right now. They all do certain things a little bit better than this one does, and if you need that, it makes perfect sense. But this still does a lot of what these cameras do extremely well. And when it comes to my first real film camera was a Fuji 680. This was a long time ago. It was a film camera. It was a lot of money. It was a great camera. I loved it. Every single roll of film that came through that camera, I loved it. It was obviously didn't get that many shots per roll. It was expensive to process. Fast forward to this camera, which does so much more than that camera ever did, at a much lower price and easier, faster, and every single shot I can take is right there. I'm comparing this camera to, again, we come back to the company that turned this into a movie camera. So they turned this into a movie camera. I compare this to a 4x5 film camera, maybe even 8x10 film camera that is with you at all times, that you can shoot not just one sheet, but non-stop tilt shift lenses, either native tilt shift, the amazing Fuji lenses, or adapted like I've tested with different adapters and old glass, and you get a different look. And it's all right there. It's all the palm of your hand. So yeah, this is not cheap. But it does, if you're really serious about it, this is a relatively inexpensive tool. Now, a lot of people still talk about the 100S, and I completely agree. And in my opinion, for the bang of the buck, as an image capture device, the 100S might be the best thing ever, because yes, the EVF is not as good as this. The overall autofocus is not quite as good as this. If you're talking about an image capture device, just using the sensor for the money, the 100S is fantastic. If you do want the absolute ultimate, this is better. I will link to that article below that shows that it does have a little more dynamic range than the 100S. Obviously, in terms of video features, this is definitely a step up. So they did take a great sensor and made it even better and more capable, and obviously the handling of files and getting everything off the sensor faster, this was just improved all the way around. I did hear that there is a new 150 megapixel Sony sensor that they came out with for now, just for industrial purposes, I believe. Will it be better? Of course it will be better. Will it be faster? Yeah, so maybe next year or in 2 years we will see a 150 version of this or something. But until then, this is just the ultimate machine. It's absolutely incredible. One of the things that I really like about the Hasselblad is the built-in 1 terabyte hard drive. I actually think that's a brilliant idea on part of Hasselblad. To deal with that, we have 2 slots in here, obviously. I just got a 1 terabyte CF Express B card. They have 1 terabyte SD cards as well. I wish they would have made 2 CF Express slots, but people have a lot of SD cards, so yeah, I guess I see their reasoning. I do like to have some backup for a shoot, so I usually shoot to 1 and then have the SD2 as a backup. Again, this is one thing where the built-in 1 terabyte drive would have come in handy. In terms of connections, I'm not really going to go through the features of the camera. Everybody knows the features of the camera. Full HD size, USB-C. One thing that has improved over the 100S is the ability when tethering, and this is something that actually I'm not sure if the S100S does that as well. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. Tethering now with Capture One works in a way that everybody who's shot tethered on location is used to that. You shoot tethered, you shoot everything with a cable into the laptop or workstation, and then you pull the cable, or the cable gets pulled, and you shoot a couple of files. The second you reattach the cable, the camera knows and feeds these files into Capture One while you're shooting. So you keep your structure the same, the files go into the same folder. It's a huge advancement, and it makes working tethered shooting on location so much better. Frame I/O integration for those who need it. It could be a great thing for photographers to be able to shoot and pretty much back up to the cloud right away. I've looked at Frame I/O for video. It's fantastic. For stills, I wish they would offer something that lets you just back up all your files. I know it takes a long time. I feel like a lot of this stuff will be worked out. We're in the early stages of this technology. The idea that you can shoot RAW and JPEG and everything gets instantly uploaded to the cloud is a couple of years ago was the workaround for sports photographers and blah 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 blah. Now it's built into the camera and it just works. I still wouldn't really recommend shooting wirelessly or tethering wirelessly or uploading because when shooting RAW files, because they are huge. And to be honest, if there was ever a reason to shoot RAW, this camera is one of them, because it's just, the files are just fantastic. Autofocus works. Yes, I would probably use a different camera if I was hired to shoot sports. I will be doing a couple of more, I'm looking at a couple of manual lenses that I got. I'm still waiting for some that I'll be doing reviews on. Again, one of the things that makes this system so amazing is just the ease to adapt. any manual glass that you can possibly find. And again, the EVF and the rear screen make it so much easier to manually focus all this glass and to shoot video with this glass as well, because it's just so much easier to focus, especially when shooting down in it with the finder. So huge. I have not yet gone out in this setup, which is obviously incredible. Now that I'm looking at it, maybe I should try that. It's so compact. It's incredible. Again, this is not an inexpensive camera. It's definitely an investment. A top-of-the-line Sony or Nikon system or Canon system will probably not be a lot cheaper than this system can be. If you know what you want to do with it, you can save some money on lenses with this system, which, yes, I guess you could do the same thing with Sony. You can adapt lenses to it as well. So my biggest reasons, just to sum this up real quick, to go with this camera and to stick with this camera, and why I love this camera so much, is the unbelievable image quality, the dynamic range of the sensor, the effortless resolution, which helps me to print really big prints of incredible quality. It's probably the least digital looking file I've ever had from any camera, other than maybe some of the early digital backs that I had, that just something about the files that just didn't look digital to me. And this camera does the same thing. I really, really love this tilt finder. I can't even imagine having this camera without it. It's huge. Again, the finder, the rear, the size of it. And the biggest plus of this camera to me is the way it just goes away when I work with it. Everything disappears. It's just, you just capture the images. Everything is right there. It just works. Turn it on, it just works. I get all this quality, I get all this dynamic range, I get the pixels, and the camera really disappears. It just goes into my hand and it's right there at a fingertip. I can take it anywhere. Nobody looks at it and says, oh, what is, you know, this is a big camera or whatever, expensive camera. It doesn't even look expensive. People don't even know it. I think if I would show up with a top-of-the-line Nikon or Sony, people would be more impressed. I'm just wondering, now that I'm thinking of it. Yeah, so this finder says Fujifilm on it. Once you put it on here, you don't even have a Fujifilm logo here, which is brilliant, actually. I know that I've at some point put tape on this to cover up the name. So this doesn't even say Fujifilm on it. Brilliant. I still recommend the 100S if you're really only looking at as a image capture device. For the money, the 100S is unbeatable because this is quite more expensive. You do get that finder, you do get that extra little bit of dynamic range, which is now officially proven. It is an amazing sensor. Okay, so I hope this helped. I know I was gushing a little bit about it, but it just, I can't get over how good this camera is. Realistically, I think we have to compare this with so to sum this up, I know that I'm gushing over this because it is such a great tool. I hope it helps. I wouldn't get into debt over buying this. You still either need to make money with it, or you just have enough money and you just really enjoy your hobby, it's a great tool and a really fun toy and a really pretty toy if that's what you're looking for. Checks all the boxes.